The following audio dub is made with the permission of the original author Mandroid. Please support the original production by following the link in the description below. Thank you.
You stare at the forest before you. Shit, that place looked creepy. The full moon wasn't helping matters either.
Why is it that you need me here again?
He's staring at some notepad he brought. You hike your sweatshirt up and pull your hood over your head as a breeze blows past you. It was definitely going to be a long winter.
Because the Everfree Forest is dangerous and I need my bro to protect me while I look for this poison joke thing for Twilight.
Protect from what? It had been about 2 months since your tussle with Whistleblower. You could handle yourself pretty well in a fight, but you didn't really feel like bodyguard material, especially not in a forest that your local wizard deemed dangerous. The past 2 months had been more or less routine. Wake up, go to work, come home. Rainbow had been over, at least 3 times a week for a movie night. She'd probably be here right now if she didn't have to get clouds ready for that big storm this weekend. You look up at the sky. You can already see some thick clouds the weather team had amassed as they flew past. Thunderclouds and a full moon at the creepy forest. Oh, you had the best luck in the world.
Well, not gonna get things done just standing here. Let's go.
You reach down and adjust David on your belt. Bullshit, were you not bringing your knife here?
If I get eaten, I'm blaming you.
Anon put his notebook away and started towards an opening of trees. The two of you walked through the forest for a while. The moon had made its way a considerable distance across the sky and was casting harsh shadows through the tree canopy. The two of you were keeping your spirits high with conversations. Topics had ranged from what your friends and family on Earth were doing, potential movie night choices, and remembering your first hearth-warming eve.
Hey, I want to ask you something.
No, I will not marry you so we can get a blender or something.
I saw that coming. Fuck you. I was just wondering, have you noticed Fluttershy hiding around the outside of the house? Like, in the bushes and stuff?
No, not Fluttershy anyway.
No, but now that you mention it, I've been seeing a Stetson off in the distance every so often.
You think it's just some pony thing? I mean, Rainbow is over every other day, and we see Twilight enough.
I don't know, man. I just get her away from the house whenever I see her.
Fluttershy usually bolts as soon as I see her. How do you handle Applejack?
I bought a box of apples from Apple Bloom in town a while ago. I throw them at her if she gets too close.
You eventually come up on a small clearing. Stumps and logs littered the area. You look up and see a cloud rolling in front of the moon, casting the area in shadow. Anon kneels down and examines some flowers on the ground. He rises with a disappointed look on his face.
I don't get it. This is where Twilight said to look in the first clearing for the poison joke. But I don't see anything here but normal flowers.
You examine the surroundings. You couldn't place any of these flowers, but they looked unremarkable.
Could she have been wrong?
No way. I've seen the map myself. The only other clearing is half a mile in.
Well, shit. Maybe you could double back and find some. You're about to speak your mind when a deafening roar came from behind the tree line. Oh, fuck. A form materialized out of the trees. A form that looked like a lion. That was where the similarities ended. On its back, you saw a pair of stubby bat wings with a long tail that ended in a scorpion stinger rising from in between them. Oh, fuck. You had no idea what this thing was. You turned to look at Anon. He hasn't taken his eyes off it.
What the fuck is that thing, dude?
He keeps staring at it. His pupils have shrunk to the size of atoms.
Manticore. One of the apex predators in the Everfree Forest.
You turn back to the manticore. Damn, that thing looks pissed.
How the fuck can there be more than one apex predator?
Everfree Forest is kinda just a clusterfuck. Anything can get eaten by anything else.
Okay, so you have a predatory animal with what appears to be teeth, claws, and a wicked tail, possibly with poison. It's lived here for years and knows how to survive, and it's mad. Kid, you are boned. The manticore starts orbiting the two of you, keeping near the tree line. Your survival instinct is telling you to run. Everything about the situation warranted running. You could probably make it back to town, but you glance at Anon. Loose clothes that would surely get caught on something. Sneakers not meant for running, and to top it off, he looked like he was panicking. No way he would make it. He was your bro, and it was your job to protect him tonight. You take a few steps towards the manticore as you unsheath David. It seems to register your challenge and roars in defiance of your best attempt at scaring it away. Shouting match it was. You let loose what you thought was your best war cry, but all that comes out is a less than satisfactory
Wah!
The manticore is as unimpressed as you are, and roars again, this time stepping closer and baring its teeth. No way you were getting out of here without a fight. You bring David to bear and go into a defensive stance. You don't dare turn your back on this thing.
Stay behind me.
You say to Anon as the manticore starts to run straight at you. With a sigh, you take off to meet it. Oh well, you had a good run. You sidestepped the manticore before you dove headlong into its mouth. You had no intention of making this easy. You flicked your wrist and drew 2 shallow gashes on the manticore's left side. You still held on to the naive hope that you could scare this thing off. You ducked and rolled as the stinger tail filled your vision. Just barely dodged that thing. You had to do better, at least take this thing down with you. The manticore roared a short distance away. Apparently, you were more of a threat when you were armed. It started lumbering towards you again, and not wanting to repeat a failing strategy, ran for the tree line. You danced around the first tree you got to, just hoping to keep something solid between this thing and your precious organs. You caught its paws with a few quick jabs when it tried to reach you, but you weren't causing any serious damage. The stinger came next, madly darting towards you as it tried for just a prick of the skin. Through some fancy footwork and a unique way of contorting yourself, you were able to get the stinger caught in the trunk of a tree. You hammered it with David's handle to keep it there. Ah, fuck. Bad move. The manticore bounded around the tree, following its tail, and came face to face with you. You fell back as the manticore drew a claw up to finish you. Right then, a rock hit the side of its head. Both you and the manticore looked back into the clearing.
Come on, you disgusting chimera! Come and get me!
Anon cried as he threw more rocks. Shit! What was that idiot thinking? The manticore was after him now! Or at least it tried to go after him until its tail went taut and it tripped? Wait. Taut tail! Opportunity. You grabbed David and ran towards the manticore's tail right near the base. You rose David high a moment before you brought him down as hard as you could. The manticore roared in pain as you rose David once again, this time almost cutting through entirely. The manticore seemed to have other plans and turned its head towards you to try and bite your arm, but no, you weren't done yet. Without thinking, you kicked the manticore in the snout, one of its fangs sailing through the air. You brought David down a third time and were rewarded with an explosion of red blood and a squirt of green ichor you assumed was poison. The manticore howled at the loss of its appendage. You ran past it with one thought on your mind: regroup. You had maimed it. You both could make it back to town if you ran now. A blinding pain put a stopper in your plans as you went sailing through the air and landed a few feet from Anon. Ah, fuck. Manticore must have recovered faster than you thought. You could feel lava-hot gashes along your back and a fluid running down it. Now you were bleeding on your favorite sweatshirt. Oh, just great. You look back at the manticore. Its eyes were wide in hatred and pain, and its wings were flared out as it approached you. Damn it, where was David? You might be able to get it in the neck before it kills you. Suddenly, green smoke started to billow out of the trees as a female voice boomed through the forest.
Turn and run, Manticore! Hunt not these poor souls anymore!
The manticore seemed alarmed by the spectacle and faltered.
I'll not ask again, fearsome beast. Run before you face she by which this forest is policed.
Either blood loss, fear, or some combination worked, because the manticore turned what was left of its tail and ran. After the manticore ran, a cloaked figure stepped out of the green mist and spoke.
Tell me, traveler, how is your friend?
Is his time here almost at an end?
It's nothing.
You start to rise only to be pushed back down again.
Shut the fuck up. The manticore got him. He has 3 gashes on his back. He's already lost some blood.
You look down underneath your stomach. Sure enough, a small red pool was forming underneath you as the life slowly drained out of you. The cloaked figure spoke again.
Get him up and follow me. We can save him if we hurry.
Very rhymey, this one. You feel Anon hoist you up and start after the pony who saved you. This reminded you of Earth. You would drag him home after he got drunk, and he would do the same to you when you got hurt. Good to see that your broship continued while you were in this new world. Your vision and hearing were blurring as you reached your destination, a small hut in the middle of the woods. Anon and your mystery mare got the clothes off over your wounded back and poured a cold tonic down it. They kept saying things, but you couldn't make it out. You screamed as loud as your lungs would allow as it set in. Damn it! If you could scream like this before, you wouldn't be in this mess. You could feel Anon bandaging your torso as your host offered you a bowl of some sort of broth. You downed what you could and tilted your head back, your hearing slowly returning to you.
Hey. Hey! You still with us, man?
You rub your hand over your face.
Yeah, I'm here.
You take a look around the room you're in.
Where is here exactly?
The mystery mare spoke up from another room.
You find yourself inside a dome which functions as my home.
You looked around the room you found yourself in. Decorating the walls were various tribal masks, shelves filled with tonics and herbs. Above the window hung a... No. It was here, mocking you. That fucking didgeridoo had followed you out here. You were torn away from your first mortal enemy in Equestria as your host pony returned. No, not host pony. Host zebra, it seemed.
I see that you are now awake. It is good to see my potion take.
Yeah, thanks for that. I'm Mous and this is Anon. Who are you?
Kinda rude, man. She saved your life.
Sorry.
Have no shame. Zecora is my name.
Tell me, Zecora, do you always rhyme?
She looks a bit hurt. Nice going, asshat.
This is how I have always spoken. Is there something with which you find broken?
Damn, she's good at this. You smile as you lean back.
Au contraire, my monochrome mare. It's quite unique, so don't despair.
You were always good in literature class. Her smile returns as you rise from your seat.
If I may, I have to ask why you were in the forest and what was your task?
Anon turns to her after he hands you the sweatshirt you were looking for. You're gonna have to get Rarity to fix this.
We're here looking for Poison Joke for Twilight Sparkle in Ponyville. Do you know her?
Twilight Sparkle is a friend of mine, as so I see, a friend of thine.
Zecora stepped into the next room and returned with a pot full of blue-looking flowers.
The last time someone came looking for Poison Joke, it ended in disaster. I thought they safer in the hands of a master.
Anon reached into his pocket and pulled out a piece of cloth that he wrapped in his hands.
Do you mind if we take a few?
Go right ahead. They are not used for much. It is good to see you know not to touch.
Anon put the flowers in his bag and the cloth back in his pocket.
We good?
We good. Is there a safe path back?
Zecora nods and points between 2 nearby trees.
Between those trees you will find a path. It will spare you the forest's wrath.
You give your goodbyes to Zecora and make ready to go home. You stop at the doorway, however.
Zecora, before I go, it begs the question.
You point to the didgeridoo.
Where did you get that piece of your collection?
She looks up at it and smiles.
I purchased it from a merchant somewhere in town. I doubt you'll find another like it around.
You wave your thanks and farewells and start walking. Some 15 minutes later, you can see the lights of Ponyville. You look over your shoulder and see Anon yawn.
It's late. Let's head home. I'll give these to Twilight tomorrow.
You nod and walk next to him. Your mind goes back to the confrontation with the manticore. You could have very easily died there if it wasn't for Anon.
Hey. Thanks. For back there with the manticore. I got his tail because of you.
And for getting Zecora's help, that's 2 you owe me.
Anon wiggles a pair of his fingers with a smile. That was true. You were convinced Zecora was something even worse the forest had cooked up for you. No way you would have asked for her help if Anon wasn't there.
I think we're even for all the times I've had to carry your ass home. Seriously, though. Thanks, man. I didn't want to die back there.
Aww.
Anon walks over to you and snakes his arm around your shoulder right over your
back wounds!
His arms shoot off and he laughs as you lean on a tree until the pain subsides. Sleeping was going to be the best tonight. You look back to him once you hear him quiet down.
But seriously, no problem, bro. What are friends for?
You smile and keep walking. Your mind goes back to the fight with the manticore as you do. You could have left. You would be short 3 big scars and a few weeks of pain, but Anon would have been gone. You take inventory of both of those possibilities. A quick look at your bro's grin at a job well done convinces you. A few wounds was totally worth it.